When you bought your first motorcycle, did you fall in love with the motorcycle or did you fall in love with the person you imagined becoming? Those sound like the same dream. They are not. And after almost 30 years riding in China, I think that difference explains a lot of how Chinese riders got started. Very different from riders in a lot of other countries. When I got my first motorcycle, I wasn't fascinated by engines. I couldn't tell you a two-stroke from a four-stroke. I didn't dream about horsepower, and I definitely wasn't born loving the smell of engine oil. I just thought riders looked cool, not the machine, the rider. I wanted to become that guy, confident, free, different from everyone around me, especially in China. If you've seen my other videos, you already know a little about how Chinese kids were raised back then. We weren't raised to stand out. We were raised to fit in. Study hard, listen to your parents, follow the script that was already written for you. I was exactly that kid. Until one day I saw a motorcycle on screen. The rider appeared. The music hit. And in that second, I didn't think I want to understand motorcycles. I thought I want to become that person. After that, I started collecting motorcycle magazines. Every issue I could find. I wasn't studying engines. I was collecting a dream. Looking back, that wasn't an accident. It came from where I grew up. A lot of you watching this probably meet your first motorcycle in your father's garage. Maybe your dad rode. Maybe an uncle did. Motorcycles were already part of the family. From people like me, that wasn't the reality. Motorcycle culture in China developed late. And from an ordinary family like mine, there was almost nothing to inherit it. Nobody at home talked about engines. A motorcycle wasn't introduced as a passion, it was a tool. Sometimes something dangerous, sometimes something only troublemakers rode. I told my father I wanted a motorcycle. He didn't ask what bike I liked. He didn't ask two-stroke or four-stroke. He said, try it and I'll break your legs. He wasn't a bad father. He was just a product of his generation, one that never had a reason to see motorcycles any other way. So if motorcycles weren't introduced by family in China, who introduced them? Movies, Hong Kong cinema, motorcycle magazines, the riders we saw on screen. The clip you are watching right now is from an old Hong Kong film, the one that planted the motorcycle seed in a lot of Chinese boys' heads. It didn't make us fall for the machine. The motorcycle came later. At least from what I've seen after 30 years, this wasn't just my story. I've seen it again and again. A lot of people bought their first bike not because they already loved motorcycles, but because they imagined becoming someone different, someone cooler, someone a little more free. That's why, at least in the beginning, appearance matters so much. The helmet, the paint job, all of it was built an image. And honestly, I don't think there was anything wrong with that. That's how a lot of dreams start. Over time, more riders find their own reason to keep going, the machine, the road, or just the quiet inside a helmet. If you've watched this from a country with decades or even a century of motorcycle culture behind it, some of this might sound unfamiliar. A lot of you probably fell in love with the motorcycle first and become a rider after. For a lot of us in China, it happened the other way around. We dreamed of becoming the rider first. The motorcycle came later.